So as we know, every draft in every different kind of year in the AFL is always extremely different. Again, some drafts have a ton of really good midfielders, some drafts have a ton of really good key forwards, or some of them just have other things like, you know, a different variety of small forwards, half backs, whatever it might be. And then there are some drafts that just have like all of them together. But usually what drafts don't have a great variety on is, well, ruckman going with very, very high picks. Again, I think with how AFL teams have just gone about it now is the fact is that you can get a ruckman with a much lower pick and turn them into a really solid play. Again, you got to go like Toby Nankervis, who was nowhere near the first round, and he was able to get picked up by the Sydney Swans, where the Richmond Tigers ended up trading for him. Other guys like Jared Witts, again, Collingwood, he ended up getting traded to Gold Coast, would become a captain there. Other ones like Lloyd Meek from Freo, and then he would go to Hawthorn and become a star. Again, even a guy like Max Gawn, who is the best ruckman in the game and has been the best ruckman in the game for a very long time, was no means a top pick in the draft. Again, it's kind of rare that you actually see a ruckman with the top pick in a draft, and even if you do see one like Brodie Grundy, who was a first round pick, he's a lot lower in the first round than being in the top. Again, don't get me wrong, there's a few exceptions like Luke Jackson was a pick 3, but it definitely is really rare, which makes the 2025 AFL draft all the more interesting when you realize right now that there are 2 guys in this year's draft who could very, very well be top 5 picks. And yes, you guys legitimately heard me right now. There's not only 2 guys who could be top 5 picks, but one of them is literally pushing to be the first overall pick in this year's AFL draft. Now, before I do get into all of that and more, there's still a decent amount of you guys who watch these videos who are not yet subscribed to the channel. So if you could do me a massive favor and leave a like on this video to let me know you guys, of course, enjoy it. Subscribe to the channel for the latest AFL content, AFL news, whatever it might be. And I guess without further ado, we'll get straight into it. Again, the 2 players that I'm talking about right now do happen to go by the name of Cooper Duff-Tytler and Lewis Emmett, with Duff-Tytler actually being considered right now in that pick 1 contention. Again, I think at the time of making this video, he's probably ranked around pick 4 or so, but he's a 199 centimeter ruckman who plays for the Calder Cannons, with it saying that a promising basketballer growing up. Duff-Tytler has well and truly turned his attention to the Sherrin. Duff-Tytler is an athletic ruck/forward who is almost another midfielder. Such is his athleticism and ball-winning ability, his 30 disposal, 10 mark, and 2 goal performance for the Calder Cannons in the Coates Talents League was just a glimpse into what he could become. Strong in the air at ground level, Duff-Tytler looms as one of, if not the best tools prospect in 2025. Again, I repeat that, 30 disposal midfielder who had 10 marks and kicked 2 goals. Again, that's what he can do. He literally can be another midfielder. That's what he basically is. He can be like an extra mid, an extra key forward. And the thing is, his position is actually ruck. Like, he legitimately plays as a ruckman. His groundwork is just so good, and his ability to 2-way run and move around the ground is so solid that you've got a guy here who I think scouts are going to be absolutely all over. Now, Duff-Tytler actually trained with Essendon over the off-season, which is really interesting because, as we know, Essendon don't look like they are going to be what a lot of people hope for them to be in 2025. It looks like at the time of making this video, they're very much sliding down the draft order and will most likely have a top 5 pick. And as we know as well, from what we have heard about with Essendon and just even how they went with last year, you can tell they are definitely looking to maybe find a new ruckman. Again, they brought Todd Goldstein in to the team last year, who started off on fire in the first half of the year, even keeping Draper like out of his role and out of the team while Draper was recovering from an injury. And again, that led to a lot of rumors that Draper could be getting, looking at other opportunities. We're going to 2025 now, where Draper is the main ruckman, but they've brought in Nick Bryan to play big ruck minutes as well. Again, Draper is also a free agent at the end of this year, so what he does is going to be really interesting. He's from Adelaide. I think a couple of those clubs will potentially be looking at him, and whether he stays or not, I think this is a really big chance that they actually look to try and draft Duff-Tytler here, because if he does stay, they can just have him and Duff-Tytler playing the same team as a double ruckman. Again, they're already trying that this year. They tried that last year. That could very much make sense, and if he does leave, of course, they can run Duff-Tytler as the main ruckman or play him with Nick Bryan. So I think Essendon will 100% be very interested in him, and that's probably a reason they, of course, had him train with them. Again, he's also a guy I think who will be on Richmond's radar. Richmond will probably be looking for a future ruckman now that Nank's I think 31, and again, he's still playing his best footy. Nank the best he's played in his whole career. But whether if Nank regresses or not, it doesn't really matter, because by the time Tasmania come into the league, no matter how old Nank is, I think Tasmania will actually look to offer him a deal, just based off the fact that he's a great leader, still an okay player, and they're going to want to bring in older players to be role players, which is a big mistake that they made by not doing with Gold Coast all those years back. So Nank being a Tasmanian guy, I could see him very well leaving the Tigers in, the 3 years I think it is, when Tasmania come into the league. So you're going to have to look to potentially move on. Maybe drafting a ruckman here is interesting, but it might not be Duff-Tytler they're looking at. It could be the other guy in Lewis Emmett, because Lewis Emmett was actually the one who trained with Richmond over the off-season, with it being said that Lewis Emmett is a 198 centimeter Oakley Charger Vic Metro player. And again, some of you guys might be thinking, isn't 198 and 199 a little small for a ruckman? Yes and no. I mean, Richmond have had Nank at 199 and Marich at 199 before that. But the thing is, these guys are 17 and could very well grow to 204, 205, which would be absolutely insane to see. But it does go on to say that another leading tall prospect in the 2025 pool, Emmett caught the eye during the Oakley Chargers 2024 campaign. A mobile big man with good skills, Emmett is a damaging forward as well. The Vic Metro tall has strong hands and loves to take a big grab, but his endurance and work rate means he gets to plenty of ruck contests around the ground too. Again, from what I know and from what I've heard just from, talking to people and whatnot, Duff-Tytler is probably ranked about pick 4 right now and has a contention to go to pick 1. I think Emmett is a little bit on the outside and he's probably ranked about pick 7 or 8 with the potential to move into the top 5. So there's a great emphasis right now on the ruckman this year, which really couldn't have come at a better time for them, because not only are Essendon probably going to be looking to add another ruckman, Richmond are probably going to be looking to add another ruckman, but St Kilda, who have consistently over the last couple years tried to play 2 ruckmen, currently don't really have that second ruckman to play with Marshall since Paddy Ryder retired, and they've tried to have a couple of different players, but it just hasn't worked. So I could very much see them going for one of these guys and drafting them, especially if, of course, Tom De Koning doesn't come to the team, which we know they're, of course, very much interested in. I think they've offered him 1.7 million a year. It was something crazy from those reports. So, yeah, as we know, St Kilda are very interested in one. It gets even more crazier when you really do realize that the other teams who are probably going to have top picks, of course, the West Coast Eagles, they are currently swapping between ruckmen, having Bailey Williams and Matt Flynn. They really don't know who they want. So they could, of course, be looking for one of these guys as well. So it could be a situation where, let's just say Richmond, they have pick 2 and West Coast have pick 4. Richmond could be well, we need a ruckman here to go with our future. We can draft the midfielder at our other pick that we get from North. Let's take the best ruckman here, Cooper Duff-Tytler. West Coast could have pick 4 and they could be we also need a ruckman and we want one to go along with this future. Lewis Emmett is sitting right there. So it could very well be a situation where I think you see 2 top 5 ruckmen, which would just be absolutely insane to see. But again, if you haven't already, please make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel for all this AFL content, AFL news, sports content, all of the above. Definitely don't forget to let me know what all of your thoughts and opinions are with, you know, Lewis Emmett and Cooper Duff-Tytler. Who do you guys think they're going to go to? And are you guys excited to see some really top tier ruckmen in this year's draft? And I think that's absolutely awesome. And something I don't think we've ever really seen is maybe 2 ruckmen going in the top 5. That's going to be absolutely crazy to see. Again, definitely don't forget to let me know thoughts and opinions on this all down below. Subscribe to my gaming channel if you haven't already, which will be linked in the description down below. And I guess I will be seeing you guys next time. Goodbye.